Legends, welcome back to a Ruck Infringement Podcast team preview. This week's team preview is none other than the Dolphins. Now, I'm doing this solo today, no one with me, but that's still good. Let's get into it. All right, to start off, we're going to go through all the ins and outs of the Dolphins for 2025. Now, if we look at the Dolphins, they haven't really recruited the best for the 2025 season, but let's take a look anyway and see what we can find. If we start with the ins, now the ins for the Dolphins is not huge. The biggest in, of course, for them is Daniel Saifiti comes over from the Newcastle Knights and Junior Tupou as well from the Tigers. If we move over to the losses, I think their biggest loss is actually the former coach Wayne Bennett. Uh, the rest of the side is not too bad. Look, they lose Tavita Pengai Jr. to Catalans, Edric Lee, Ewan Akins to Rabbitohs, Jared Wallace retired, Jesse Bromwich retired, Tessie New to the Super League, Valance to Fare to Japanese Rugby, and Anthony Milford is unsigned and Robert Jennings unsigned. And the only other 2025 in was Vina Fiaki from the Cowboys and Max Feagai, of course. Now, we get those ins and outs. The outs, there's a lot. I wouldn't say a lot of incredible first grade talent, a lot of fringe players there. Jesse Bromwich was a big one, of course, 300 gamer for the Melbourne Storm before joining the Dolphins. Tavita Pengai Jr., we know what he produced and was a fantastic player. Ewan Aiken, I thought, is Mr. Reliable, so he will be sorely missed. But the ins, Junior Tupou, not a bad little winger. I think hopefully he gets a starting spot. Bostock was very good there last year. Daniel Saifiti will help them up front. And Finifiaki should get a second row spot. But let's jump in now to our predicted lineups, 1 to 17 for the Dolphins. Now, we start off with the fullback, the Hammer. I mean, that's pretty obvious. No one's really chasing him down. Trey Fuller sort of came of age a bit last year, but I don't think that the Hammer is in any danger there. So Hamaso Tabuai-Fidow will be the fullback. Look at the wingers, Jermaine Azarko and Jack Bostock will get the first crack, with Junior Tupou sitting in the wings ready to go if there is an injury. Moving into the centres, I think they're actually going to go Jake Averillo. Averillo and Herbert Farnsworth, who, of course, was fantastic last year, has been for the past 2 years. I don't think that's going to change too much. Tessie New gone. I don't mind Averillo there. He is playing there in the trial as well this week, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. If we move into the halves, I think Katoa's definitely at the 7. The 6 is an interesting one. Trey Nikorima can do the job. Sean O'Sullivan can do a job. I'm leaning more towards Nikorima. I think O'Sullivan may be a 14. So I'm going to go Nikorima in my predicted lineups and then Isaiah Katoa at my 7. Moving into the front row, a very interesting again. I think Saifiti lands a spot straight away in that side. I don't think that's going to change at all. The number 9, Jeremy Marshall-King, barring injury. And the number 10, another great front rower in Mark Nichols. Now, if we move into the back row, another position that I think is very interesting for the Dolphins, Finifiaki probably gets a spot there straight away. Felice Kafusi, you think, would land the initial spot, but I'm actually leaning more towards Kenny Bromwich. I would have Kenny Bromwich there over Kafusi just because I think with Kafusi's age, they may try and play him more in the middle of the bench now. And then to wrap up at 13, my lock position, Max Plaff, who I thought is a fantastic player. Loved him last season. Can't wait to see more of him in 2025. If we look at the bench makeup, it's going to be not too different to last year. I think if 14, 15, 16, 17 are all going to vary between some front rowers, some second rowers. It's going to be really interesting to see what way they go. But for me, I think in that 14, you've got Lemuelu will be there. Of course, you've got Josh Kerr will be on the bench as well. Kafusi, as I mentioned before. Ray Stone, possibly. Tommy Flegler, if he's fit. One that I actually may change. I spoke about Finifiaki maybe landing that second row spot, maybe Kenny Bromwich as well. Tom Gilbert, if he is back and fit, I think he may get the captaincy. So for me, I'd probably promote Tom Gilbert to the starting role, possibly a 13, a lock position for Tommy Gilbert, maybe moving Plaff into the second row with Kenny Bromwich possibly playing off the bench. But that would be what I would do if Gilbert was fit. If Flegel was fit, he would start, but I think Nichols will get the crack there round one. All right, let's jump into a bit of Supercoach relevance for the Dolphins for 2025. Now, when we talk Supercoach, we often want to know players that are a good price, players that are going to help us through, and some young rookies or cash cows that we may want to purchase. Now, we start off at the top. Herbie Farnworth, 728K, can play him in centre wing. Look, he's a fantastic premium option. I think to start the year, there are better centre wings who are at a cheaper price that you could probably go for. I don't know if the Dolphins are going to have a great year. And so with that, I think Herbie is going to struggle a little bit, in my opinion. I just think he may not get the ball that he's had over the past couple of seasons. If we move down a little bit, Hemiso Tabuai-Fidow, 653K, fullback there. Plenty of fullbacks going around. A few that are cheaper. Hemmer will play Origin as well. For me, he's an avoid. I don't think you need to jump on there at all. One that's very interesting, Max Plaff with the dual second row hooker, 617K. Look, he's very juicy. Last year, he flew onto the scene. He could play him hooker. It was so good to have. But I don't know. I don't know this year. It all depends on if he gets a starting role. And it just depends on the makeup of the team. I think, as I said before, the team's going to struggle a little bit. If we move down a little bit now, look, I've had Jermaine Azarko in my team over the past couple of seasons. Does goal kick, 616K centre wing. Again, not a bad option. He tends to finish a lot of tries off on that right side. So if you do have him, I wouldn't say no to it. I don't think you'd be disappointed. He is not a bad option there. But moving down to Tom Gilbert. Now, of course, that injury last season prevented him for half the year, but he's back. And if he's playing second row and gets a mid-dual or can play lock as well. 462K, not a bad price. If he lands the captaincy, we think he's playing upwards of 55, 60 minutes. So at that, I'd be really interested in Tom Gilbert. Really, really interested. Second row, 462K, very, very cheap there. If we move down to a new player in their side, Fiafi, as we spoke on before, 368K. Second row in the Supercoach now. If he does land a starting spot, he's one you got to get in at that sort of price. I think it'd be stupid not to. Look, a little bit trappy. I think he could be a trap in the sense of the minutes and the game, the sort of game style that he plays. But at 368K, it's not too bad there. Now, if we go down a bit further, some coming through that you might want to keep in your black book is James Walsh, second rower, 198K, very, very good young kid. Big tickets on this kid. So keep an eye out for him maybe during the season if he gets a run. Also Michael Walker as well in the front row, 198K as well. I don't think they're going to be starting, barring lots and lots of injuries. But if they do, watch out for these two kids because they are absolute superstars. All right. Let's chat about the Dolphins now. This season is one of a rebuild, some would say. Wayne Bennett's gone back to the Bunnies. He's left the club in the hands of Christian Wolf, who we know from the Super League and Tonga as well has done a fantastic job in the past. But can he get this team firing? Can he have that same effect that Wayne Bennett had on this team so early on? I don't think so. For me, unfortunately, I've got the Dolphins down in my bottom four for this season. I just don't know if they can do it. I just think they're going to struggle a little bit with the talent they've got. The recruitment drive hasn't been fantastic. And I think they may do it a little bit tough in 2025. I'm sorry to all those Dolphins fans if you are listening. I like the Dolphins, but I just can't have them up there just based on who they've got. Wayne Bennett gone, I just think it's going to be a bit of a rebuild season and they may struggle quite a bit. But let's jump into our dynamite player for 2025 for the Dolphins. Now, a few players we spoke on before, a player, though, that I think is going to be a dynamite player in 2025. Jack Bostock. We saw him come through last year and had a fantastic season for the Dolphins, scoring tries at will. I think he is going to go to the next level this season. I think he's going to be one of their absolute best on that wing. If he can get good early ball, he can score a try from anywhere, Jack Bostock. So for me, I think Bostock's going to be one of the main men there at the Dolphins in 2025, and he is my dynamite player for this year. But look, that is it for our Dolphins preview. A nice short one for you tonight. Don't forget to check us out on all social media across Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X. And, of course, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube as well. Please give us a like, a follow, a subscribe. Leave a comment. We love to hear your comments, and we will answer them the best we can. Don't forget also to check out our sponsors, JerseyKingz Australia. Best jerseys going around. You hear jerseys for $99 using our code RUCK, $50 off jerseys. JerseyKingz, they sell fantastic jerseys, 2025 NRL jerseys, AFL, soccer, a bit of basketball as well. So check them out, jerseykingzaustralia.com, or check them out on Instagram as well. Also, Stay Fancy Eyewear, some fantastic safety glasses, different varieties, different colors, fantastic on the job site as well. Protect you from the sun, but also protect you from any nasties that you may find while working. Now, if you use our code RUCK10, you'll get 10% off at Stay Fancy Eyewear. So check them out at their website, stayfancyeyewear.com, or go on their social media, Facebook and Instagram. Don't forget our Supercoach comps and fantasy comps are running as well. I will drop the codes in the description. Please join. We have a draft comp going to some fantastic prizes up for grabs there, some SC rings going, and they look absolutely wonderful. But thanks. Until next time, I'm Joey. Be good.